Welcome to A Direction Forward. This is episode 3. I'm going to go over a couple of things because some people said that there's so many women and names that I've mentioned that they're getting a little bit confused. So we start off with he was married to Monique. He had an affair with his office manager. Her name was Tamara or Tama or Tara or something like that. She broke it off because her husband found out about the affair and committed suicide by driving off a cliff in their car. So then he goes on to Jolene, who is a sales manager for a 4-star resort in Southern California. And they had an affair for I don't know how long. That ended. He's back with Monique. Has a major heart attack. Supposedly, this is, again, everything that I'm talking about was either told to me by him. It's not something I've made up. So, so it's been told to me by him or some of the women. So he's in the hospital recovering from a heart attack, and Monique comes in and hands him divorce papers. So he decides to move in with his Debbie. Debbie is an enabler, and so she's enabled him for over 10 years. She's one of his, what they call a flying monkey. I don't even know if she knows what a flying monkey is. I don't even know if she knows what she is. She's supposed to be a counselor for a women's violence home called Laura's House in Southern California. So she's a counselor for violence, but then she enables this person, we'll call him John, enables him and any relationship or marriage that he has somehow ends because of her getting involved in it. So now we're with Debbie. He's with Debbie. Debbie tells him she doesn't want to be with him or have sex with him or whatever the case may be. So then he starts on his quest for other relationships. I guess he went through quite a few. And then he met me. And so we got married in Clearwater Beach, Florida. We got married during COVID. So because we got married during COVID, it was very different from usually marriages where you would invite friends and family to participate or at least have a reception. So we didn't have that. We did a Zoom call. To this day, I have no idea who was on the Zoom call. I know there are quite a few women. I want to think that some of them were maybe just friends. I don't know. I know there's a Belinda in Southern the Carolinas, someplace that, again, is another enabler for him. And I know this Debbie probably was on it, and I don't know about any of the others, but I know there were a couple. Anyway, we get married in Clearwater Beach, Florida, December of 2020. And then, of course, I had to go back to California. I had a home in California. I had to sell the home in California. So I go back and sell the home in California. He flies out, and we drive cross country from California back to Orlando, Florida. I want to tell you, it's probably the most oh my goodness. Day 3, I was ready to drop him off at an airport because he was being so ridiculous. He had gone cross country in May. We went cross country in February, different time of the year, different weather situations. Would get dark at 4:30. So he says to me, we should be making better time because when I came cross country, I was blah, 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 so far ahead. So, of course, I looked at him and I said, well, first of all, it's February. It's freezing cold out. We followed an ice storm where there were several trucks on both sides of the interstate, either jackknifed or lying on their side. And he didn't do well driving at night. So again, I said, I'll be more than happy to drop you off at an airport and you can fly from wherever we are to Orlando and I'll continue on, or maybe I'll turn back and go back to California. Anyway, we did make it to Orlando. He was renting a townhouse there. So the lease was up in, I believe, May. So we started looking for a home in Sarasota, Florida. So I found it on Zillow. We went to look at it. We were given 15 minutes to look at the home. And at this time, of course, it was like a feeding frenzy with homes. There were 67 people that bid on this home. We were the lucky one to, I guess, win it, if you want to say that. Anyway, he had no money, so I paid 100% for the home. You heard that right, 100%. He did not contribute one penny to the home. So the home, of course, was in my name only, and I was not gonna change that. Just a word of caution. I know that he's involved with some woman now in, I believe she's in Nokomis or someplace in the Sarasota area. She has a big home, and Florida law is completely different. In other words, if he moves in with you, and I know he's already done things like maybe mowed the lawn for you or did some, I don't know, work around the house. Just so you know, he keeps track of each and every item that he does and how much it would cost you if you didn't hire him to do these things for you. And once you break up with him or call it quits, he'll present you with an invoice. And how do I know this? Because that's exactly what he did to me when we were going through our divorce. He presented my attorney with, I believe it was at least 4 pages of single spaced items that he purchased that he wanted to be reimbursed for. And I'm talking like sponges, like stuff to clean. I mean, just even little minor things that he felt, even though he was my husband, he had not paid one penny for the home. Him and his son were living there. He felt that he was entitled to money returned to him instead of being a husband and being someone that was interested in the home and making sure that the home was nice and presentable. He wanted his money back. So just a word of caution, Florida law, if he moves in with you, I would suggest that you have some type of form that you contact a lawyer and have him present to him, make him sign it, make sure that it's notarized, because he has a tendency to go against things and say that he wasn't aware of this or whatever. And just for your own good, cover your butt or cover your ass, as they say, because he's a con man. He is a con man, and he's laser focused on you, lady. And I know that you're his next victim. You are his next victim. Okay, so we get married in Clearwater. We're living in Sarasota, a house I paid for. And I was working full time. He decided that he wanted me to be home because we were getting older. He wanted to do more things with me. He didn't want me to go to work. So I quit my job and I spent full time with him, thinking that I was doing something great, not knowing that all this time he's got all these women on the side. 4 of them that I found out about. So if there was 4, there was probably another 8 that I didn't find out about. Another word of, I would say, caution, or what I would do if I were you, is ask him for his phone. Just, out of the blue. In other words, like, don't have your phone with you. Keep it at your house or forget it. And say, oh, I need to make a phone call. Let me use your phone. And then get up and walk into the ladies' room or someplace where he can't follow you and open up that phone and see exactly what's going on. Now, if he gives you the phone, I'll be really surprised. He's going to make up some excuse where, he doesn't want you to see it. But if he does by any chance and you get to do that, you're going to be wide awake with what he's been doing behind your back. Now, he's been doing this like I said, for several years. So it didn't just start with me. He did it before me. I'm sure he did it to the woman before me and the woman before that and the woman before that. So he has a pattern of doing this. All right. So he asked me for a divorce on Christmas Day. I contacted my attorney. He got served January 2nd. January 7th, him and his son leave the home, which was a good thing. And about a week later, he has one of his flying monkeys. Her name is Deanna from Palm Springs area, fly into Tampa St. Pete, Clearwater area, where they spent a weekend or more together. And how do I know this? Is because you're to turn in 2 years of financials when you go through a divorce. He turned in 2 months. And the 2 months he turned in was January, which is when he had Deanna fly in and pay for her flight to Tampa, Clearwater, and February. So after Deanna, after you left, and I don't even think you were halfway clear across country, he was already going out to eat with another woman because it says so right on the receipt, on the credit card receipt, just so you know. So we got married in Clearwater, and this is where Deanna, you and him spent time at the same hotels, the same restaurants, everything that we spent at. And I just kind of think that he was going down memory lane. Unfortunately, you don't look like me. You look like Debbie Harry because you have blonde hair and you have those caterpillar black eyebrows. So I'm sure the time he was with you, he might have been looking at you, but I don't think he was thinking about you. Hate to say it. So a direction forward. This is my third podcast, and I'm going to continue with another podcast. I'm going to read a letter that this woman wrote about getting when she finalized her relationship or marriage with a narcissistic person and what she wrote. And I think it's very important that anyone dealing with somebody is narcissistic, that you need to know about these things. You need to know that they're not the person they say they are, that they are an evil, lying, manipulative person. And the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you get out of it, and the sooner that you go your own way, the better off you are. Want to be on a direction forward? Give me an email on a directionforward@yahoo.com. Look forward to hearing from you, and look forward to hearing anybody's answers or questions on any of my podcasts. Take care.